We're back with your End Zone exclusive here on the Purple and Gray Network. I'm here at the Conway versus Little Rock Christian game where Conway is defending their top 7A spot. Plus, we'll give you the updates on Mayflower's battle to stay undefeated and the fight against Vilonia and Morrilton. Lacey and Austin have all your highlights and what's coming up as we head into the final week of regular season play. Purple and Gray starts right now.
November is here, and that means high school football in Faulkner County is getting great. High school playoffs are just around the corner, Lacey. Some great games from this past Friday that I can't wait to talk about.
We have a lot of games from this past Friday to recap. A lot of games coming up, too, to look at. We have a great night ahead of us. Welcome back to Purple and Gray Network. PGN Conway starts right now.
Thank you for joining us here at PGN. I'm Austin Wader.
And I'm Lacey Bohannon. Austin, take us to our first recap of the week.
Yeah, our first recap going to be in 3A District 2 over at Patrick Stadium, where the Mayflower Eagles look to clinch a conference title against the Salem Greyhounds. And Mayflower got a challenge from Salem in this game that they had never seen before. Salem runs the triple option, pretty much clear all on the ground, 346 yards rushing for Salem in this game. And despite all that and really getting outgained in the first half, Mayflower had a 21-12 lead at half, courtesy of touchdown passes from their quarterbacks, Robert Cockerham and Carter Smith. They had a 21-12 lead at the half. It was a 27-20 Mayflower lead entering the fourth quarter, and Salem goes on a 12-play, 88-yard drive that saw them convert 2 fourth downs. They were able to get in the end zone and score a 2-point conversion to take the lead with 6 minutes left. Mayflower had a chance to keep its undefeated season alive, but they could not do it. Salem, with the big upset at Patrick Stadium, they take down the previously undefeated Mayflower Eagles 28-27. Salem now 6-3 on the year, and both teams are now 5-1 with Salem in first place in 3A District 2. Lacey, how about the Wampus Cats?
The Wampus Cats, Austin, we were hoping for a good matchup and maybe a little pushback towards the Wampus Cats in a good competitive game, but the Wampus Cats came out strong against the Little Rock Christian Academy Warriors this past Friday night. Both the defense and the offense played a big role in the Wampus Cat win over Little Rock Christian. Wampus Cats got off to a hot start offensively with both Amari Davis and Trey Harris rushing for over 100 yards each just in the first half. The Wampus Cats had a solid lead going into halftime at 35-3. The Conway defense held Little Rock Christian to only 56 yards rushing in the game and 244 yards of total offense. Second string for the Wampus Cats came in around the fourth quarter and only allowed 1 touchdown for the Warriors as well. A great game across the board for the Wampus Cats. 2 standout players for us right here, running back Amari Davis, who we'll have more on later in the show, and another pretty well-known name that we have usually, Trey Harris, rushing for 105 yards, scoring 2 touchdowns, bringing the Conway Wampus Cats to beat the Little Rock Christian Academy Warriors 42-10, moving Conway to 6-0 in the 7A Central Conference, Little Rock Christian to 4-2. Let's catch up with Ashton Henderson, who caught up with Amari Davis and Trey Harris after the game.
You both made a pretty big impact tonight, and so can you explain what your duo, what your dynamic is like?
Me and him, we're basically the same build. So one of us get out, another one come in, continue the process, continue to smash him, we wear him down, and we just go on from there.
And Trey, tonight we saw you break through Little Rock Christian's defense. And so what was your mindset going into this game, and how did you handle, can you go into detail about your execution for this game as well?
Just to play hard. We knew we had to come out here with a different mentality. If we wanted to come out here 9-0, we had to get ready for next week. So we knew if we wanted to have a bye first week that we had to come out here and play hard, and that's exactly what we did. So.
Man, another week Conway blowout. I mean, Lacey, I'm losing track of them at this point. But our last game, we're going to recap Vilonia and Morrilton and keep on talking about this 5A West. We had another great one go down at Philip D. Weaver Stadium in Vilonia. Morrilton started this game out strong, got up 13-0 early in the first quarter due to a 3-and-out by Vilonia and an interception. And then the Vilonia defense was able to stand tall in that second quarter. They forced 2 interceptions of their own and were able to tie the game up at 13 late in the first half. Morrilton would score a touchdown on the final play of the half. Vilonia faithful there seemed like they didn't agree it was a touchdown, but that's a whole different conversation there. But it was 20-13 Morrilton at the half. And then the second half, it was all Vilonia. Their defense shut down an offense that had scored over 30 points in every single game this year and held them to just 7 points in the second half. Vilonia scored the first 17 points of the game, the second half, to take a 30-20 lead with 9 minutes left. I mentioned Morrilton got a touchdown after that with 5 minutes left, but their offense never touched the ball again, Lacey. Bologna ran out the last 5 minutes of the clock to get their biggest win of the season. Bologna takes down Morrilton 30-27. I mentioned first time this year Morrilton has been held under 30 points. Bologna now 7-2, 5-1 in conference play. Full control of second place in the 5A West. Morrilton now 4-2 in conference play and now third place in the 5A West. Lacey, this 5A West is all over the place. I get words mixed up talking about this 5A West.
It sounds like it. And it also sounds like we had some big games with some big players and big plays of the week, Austin. Who do you have for us?
Yeah, so I have our play of the week, and really I guess I could say plays of the week, kind of a two-parter there. Salem and Mayflower, we talked about that, ending that great drive by the Greyhounds to go down and score. A great run by running back Caden Brink as he scores this touchdown. And then the guts by the coaching staff and the players on Salem say, no, we don't want the tie here. Like, we want to go for two and the lead. A great pass from quarterback Jackson Taylor as he hit Caden Hollis for the 2-point conversion that ultimately got the win for Salem, and then the pull off the shocker at Patrick Stadium. That was a great plays of the week, Lacey. What about our player of the week?
Our player of the week, we are going back to the Wampus Cats. We talked about him earlier. We heard from him earlier. Amari Davis, number 11, the junior for the Wampus Cats, the running back with 3 touchdowns, rushing for 216 yards on 13 carries. A standout player from Amari Davis. A lot of great plays. He is carrying his team right now. Only a junior, a big year coming up next year. We have a lot to see from him in the coming years.
Yeah, we do, and maybe in the coming week as we get ready to dive into our game previews. And this is basically rivalry week for me, Lacey. There's a lot of great rivalries, including the big one that's going to be going down between Conway and Bryan. I can't wait about this game.
That's right. We have a big one for you this week. I think we could argue, Austin, that this might be the biggest matchup in the 7A Central Conference.
Absolutely.
Coming up this Friday night. 7 p.m. at Hornet Stadium. This will be the first time that Wampus Cats head coach, former Bryant Hornets head coach, Buck James, is going back to his previous home turf. Both teams right now sitting at 9-0 overall and 6-0 in the 7A Central Conference. Scorebook Live has been kind of all over the place with this one. At first it was all in favor of Conway, all in favor of Bryant. Now we are back to a 100% probability that Conway's going to win this game. Maybe we will see some competition, Austin. The last time these two matched up, Bryant beat Conway 53-22 and took over the number 1 seed going into playoffs. So almost like it was this time last year. Austin, we're about to find out who the real number 1 in the 7A Central Conference is, and I think we can expect a pretty solid matchup this time around.
Yeah, dare I say, first challenge for Conway? We will wait and see. I'm not going to guarantee that, as I've been wrong so far this year. But our other big matchup, and I talked about big rivalry, the biggest one in Faulkner County, maybe one of the biggest ones in the state, Bologna hosting Greenbrier at Philip D. Weaver Stadium. The Judges Cup on the line there, the trophy given to the winner. A huge game, a huge rivalry, and massive playoff implications in this one, especially for Bologna. A win for the Eagles, and they will clinch the 2 seed in the 5A West and host a home playoff game next week. A loss, they could drop as far as the 4 seed and just barely make it in the playoff and have to play on the road against the 1 seed from the 5A Central next week. I think I know which option I would choose, Lacey. But nonetheless, these two teams pretty balanced, both scoring over 30 points per game. Both defenses have been really solid. Neither has given up over 30 points in the past 3 games. My big key to the game is going to be emotions for both sides. Huge rivalry game, but also how will Bologna respond this week after a huge win last week against Morrilton, and now knowing what's at stake with a win this Friday and getting that 2 seed at home. Another huge matchup, the Judges Cup, going to be a good one.
Sounds like we have a lot of tough matchups coming up this Friday night, which means we'll have a lot of coverage for you next week. But before we go, let's take a look at the Conway Wampus Cats student section. I mean, how about this? All of the red, white, and blue, the patriotism from the student section, a lot of probably potential first-time voters in this student section. What a great thing to see, just the excitement for our country. I think it's a pretty cool thing to look at here, Austin.
Yeah, it is absolutely terrific, and I don't think it'll be the last one we see. I know that some of the games we talked about, going to be some great student sections there. We'll have game highlights for those games next week here on PGN. Lacey, last week of the regular season, playoffs next week. Can't wait to see how the regular season wraps up.
Me too, Austin. Stay up to date with us. Be sure to give us a follow on Facebook at Purple and Gray Network.
You can also follow us over there on Instagram. Give us a like there at PGN Conway.
And subscribe to us on YouTube at PGN Conway.
But that's going to do it for us here at the Purple and Gray Network. I'm Austin Wader.
And I'm Lacey Bohannon, and we'll see you next week.